But autistic people can be either very outgoing or very socially awkward. And then some people like me are very sensitive, very controlling over our environment. A lot of people are extroverted, but they don't talk a lot.
Welcome to the MAGC Wellness Podcast. My name is Kakalo Potwani and I am your host. Today we'll be talking about something that is very close to my heart, something that I find a lot of interest in. Today we'll be talking about living and thriving as a professional diagnosed with autism. Good morning.
Good morning. That's an autistic thing. Echoing people.
Really?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So I'm going to ask that you introduce yourself first and we're going to dive right in.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shika. I'm an occupational therapist. I'm also living with autism and ADHD traits. I'm passionate about mental health, neurodiversity, workplace well-being, all of that stuff.
Before we go any further, what does an occupational therapist do? Just briefly, I know a lot of people think a lot of things, so let's just clarify that very quickly.
So most people have like something going on in their life, right? So this is where they used to function, and this is where they are now.
Okay.
Maybe it's an injury or an illness or whatever, and then what OT does is try to fill that gap using a lot of strategies. So a simple example would be kids who can't grip pencils nicely or cut. So OT will help that kid kind of reach that grade 1 level of functioning. Grade 1 is in school,
So almost like helping them catch up.
Bridge a gap.
I love that. Bridge a gap. Okay. And before, again, we get into the nitty-gritties of it, what is autism? I know it's a spectrum, and I know they people diagnosed with autism function in a different way. I know there's a lot of myths surrounding that. How would you describe autism for yourself?
Autism for me, is just having a brain that's wired differently and having experiences or interactions that are kind of deeply meaningful to you, whereas other people think, okay, yeah, that's a bit weird. And the things that people really like and value, you're just like, this is kind of boring. So it's like a difference. You're just a different kind of a person.
Okay, I love that. Have you ever had any myths said to you or misconceptions said to you surrounding autism? I know I've heard that a lot of females get diagnosed much later on because it's very hard to tell. That is true, right?
Yes, that is true.
Okay, yeah. So what are the misconceptions surrounding living with autism?
So in my case, I think the one thing that like kind of gave me a clue is I tend to be quite assertive, have a lot of questions. I find it hard to kind of bend towards convention. I want to know why, And for a long time, I thought we're all like that. But as I grew up, my mom would ask me to do things or whatever, and I just didn't want to. And like my siblings would be like, just do it. And I'm like, why? So I seemed disrespectful. I seemed disengaged. I seemed aloof. But I just didn't understand some of the things she was saying to me, because she also was told, like, you do what your parents say. So I'd ask her, why are we doing it like this? And it would be like, not you again with the questions. Like, just do it.
So how did you break the news? I'm so glad that you went to your family setup because, girl, you black. And I know in a black household, something like autism is not a real thing, right? According to them. If you say I'm autistic, it's what is that? You know?
Yeah.
So how did you deal with it? Like after you were formally diagnosed, how did you break it to them? How did that work?
Um, thing is, a lot of my family members are neurodiverse.
Oh, okay.
So we are all like, I mean, I didn't grow up feeling autistic. It'll be like those things where I'm a little bit too blunt or I seem disrespectful, but I didn't grow up thinking like, you know? And yeah, so I never said to my family, "Hey guys, I'm autistic." That conversation never happened. So, but some of the younger people, they understand
Sure.
ADHD, they understand feeling overstimulated, they understand overwhelmed. So I try to talk about it in those terms, like, no, she's a sensitive person, or this person has a lot of energy. This person tries to save their energy. It's not really diagnostic language.
Sure.
Yeah, and also like people like my gran, they get very defensive when you say, "Hey, why didn't you guys tell me I'm autistic?" And she's like, "You're not. If you were, we would have seen it." But like, in their minds, it's a kid being a kid. So I try to stay away from the labels. But yeah, most people have some kind of. It is mostly genetic. So
And I think when people think about autism, they think about, children that say don't talk, or children that don't make eye contact, or, like they're just very sensitive to touch, or they really want touch. So, because like people really move away from the whole spectrum thing, that people with autism don't necessarily look a particular way, right? So how is it living with autism, but you don't look like you're autistic? I'm doing this because that's not a real thing, but
yeah. I don't know. The thing about autism is you're just being yourself. You're just having these experiences and preferences. And, if like my parents growing up, they didn't really put restrictions on us. Like, you have to eat. If you didn't want to eat, you didn't want to eat. If they asked you to do something and you didn't do it, they would discipline you. Like, it was just you being you and then them teaching you boundaries. It
sure.
wasn't like, we have an autistic kid, let's make, you know what I mean? Even with clothing, you, as a mom, you eventually learn like, okay, she prefers it when it's cotton, linen. So I really didn't have the typical autistic upbringing where like my mom was announcing to every Tom, Dick, and Harry, "Hey, my..." No, it's just, you're just being yourself, and your brother also seems autistic, and your sister also seems autistic. So it's normal to you.
Sure.
And then when you get to varsity, well, I started learning about like sensory profiles, developmental milestones. I started developing the language. But honestly, all along, I think the biggest issue of my life has always been sensory overload, feeling overwhelmed, needing a lot of rest. That's like the biggest issue.
So on that, I want to now move to living with autism as a professional, because you spoke about sensory overload, needing rest, I would assume feeling burned out a lot of the time. What would a typical day look like for you?
Um, I just want to preface that by saying um, there are levels of autism,
Sure.
literally. So, and these levels are determined by your support needs. So, if you are maybe in a government job, it's nice and stable, you guys just have to do your stats, you don't live far from work, your support needs will probably be low. But there are times where you're particularly stressed out, overwhelmed. Maybe there's something going on with, like, I don't know, your heart or your blood pressure. Then you might need more support.
Sure.
But a typical day for me, waking up, when I was working in corporate, I like to get to work early, because like 10 to 7 because it's hot desking. I don't know if you're familiar with the word. So it's a open plan kind of thing.
Sure.
And then everyone grabs a desk, right?
Is it your desk or is it?
It's your desk.
But tomorrow it might not be.
These are one of the things that I think about, because when
Because you know what I mean. Like, am I just walking in and?
I was told no one's gonna shout at you if you sit at their usual chair, this. But people have usual chairs, and if you sit where they're sitting, they take that personally. So everyone does have a desk.
Sure.
But it
Doesn't have their name on it.
yes.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we'll go work on the other side because it's cold, or
Sure. Yeah.
But I had to get to work early so I could work in an office, because there are a few offices.
Okay.
So when I'm in an office, what I can do, unfortunately, you can't control the light because it's all centralized, motion sensing, whatever. I would get into the office and I'd have my back to the door so that I don't see people like milling about. And then sometimes I'd even wear sunglasses. I looked so insane.
Hello.
It looked so insane. Just to control like the amount of input. And then my computer's always on dark mode or night light, and noise cancelling headphones. Usually I don't play anything, but if I feel that I'm getting a bit slow, I'll play like, those YouTube things like 432 hertz,
Yes, like
rain,
different frequencies.
yeah,
Yes.
rain sounds, stuff like that. Yeah, I used to like classical music because it's music without lyrics. Lyrics make you think. Music just relaxes.
And you need to pay attention to the lyrics.
Yeah.
Before we move on, I just want to clarify: were you or are you sensitive to all your senses? Are all your senses sensitive? Like you spoke about visual sensitivity, auditory sensitivity, touch.
Touch, I don't like mind hugs and whatever. I do try to wear like cotton,
Sure.
linen, kind of stay away from synthetic material. Touch. I'm from a very huggy family.
Sure.
So I think from a touch perspective, not so much. But I don't like being tickled. I hate that. Don't even do that to me. So it's light, sound. I'm a picky eater.
Okay.
Picky eater. I don't like going to Golf City and whatever, because all that like movement just makes me sick. I like exercise that is stimulating without being overwhelming, which is walking. I like walking, and I like these simple like using your body as resistance exercises or home workouts. I don't want to like swim 5 kilometers in the sea, or like that's not
So
my
there's no reason for that.
and hiking. Oh god.
Yeah, no.
But Gauteng hiking's nice.
Because everything's flat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cape Town hiking is it's the worst. I hate it.
Next level.
I hate it.
I'm gonna say this. I'm not a fan of hiking. Although I wanna hike 12 times this year. So I agree with you there. There's no reason for anyone to go up a mountain and back. It just doesn't make sense. So I just wanna again stay on you as a professional, right? I know from what I've read that autism affects the social skills of someone and communication, right? So in a workplace, there are cultures. People have friendship circles and there's like an office culture or whatever it is. How did you maneuver that in a social sense and communication sense? Because you have to talk to people.
Yeah. So, one, I grew up in a big family, and my mom was very people-oriented, my dad too. And I grew up as an African, a black a black girl. Then I went to varsity, learned all about human behavior, psychology, different, types. Some people are extroverted, some people are introverted. So when I enter into the office, I do feel that I have a significant advantage over maybe an autistic male my age who was raised by his autistic mother.
Sure.
So from a culture perspective, I think I do okay. What's hard is expressing my curiosity without being disrespectful. And there are things you just don't say. I mean, I don't even know. So the other time we were talking about gentle parenting with my colleagues, and I was just like, when I was naughty, my parents would just hit me. And then everyone was like, you. And I'm like, I thought we all grew up being beaten.
Most of us black children.
Yeah.
Millennials.
But offices are often multicultural.
That is true.
Yeah. And then the other black people know not to say those things. So I will be like, yeah, no, they just beat you. If you weren't doing what they say, they just beat you. And then for other people, it's like, yo.
That is rough.
And I'm like, oh, I thought this was a fact about life. Okay, SARS. I'm fine.
Easy, guys.
I'm not traumatized. I'm okay. So it's things like that. The more nuanced things. With my boss, in my mind, your boss is someone who manages you and your work.
Yes.
But there are some kind of psychological hierarchies in that relationship that I don't always feel privy to. It's almost like I think I'm being normal, but maybe,
You're overstepping almost.
Or she feels that way. And I'm just asking, but like, why would you guys do it this way? It seems really inefficient. And it's things like that that I say, okay, I struggle with. And then also anything that I feel is unfair. I cannot, which is an autistic trait, a high sensitivity for justice. If I feel that things are unfair, I really don't like that. Because, we're all adults. We should all be fair.
So what is the pushback that you experience in a work environment when you just being yourself and when you don't pick up on those, micro cues that might be thrown at you? What is the pushback that you experience in that sense?
I often feel confused or like taken aback because I remember this one time we were suggesting activities for team building. And I'm like, we should go axe throwing.
Can I tell you something? I went axe throwing. It was like throwing an axe,
yes.
Right? It's almost like darts, except it's an axe.
Yes.
Oh, Mujimu. Yes, guys, check it out.
And I keep seeing the sign on the way to work. So I'm like, guys, we should do axe throwing. And I don't know if it was the next day or later that day, but like someone said to me, no, you should try boxing. It really gets all of that anger out. I'm just like, anger. I just wanted to have fun with an axe. I'm not trying to like
kill somebody and alive somebody.
So it's things like that where your energy may seem more intense to others than to you. I mean, for me, axe throwing is pretty neutral, but for other people, it's like, we were thinking like a picnic. I don't know.
Particularly because it's a formal, setting.
But it's team building. I thought we're there to blow off some steam. Like, and then there was a little bit of a joke, like, Shika, don't put such and such person, don't put such and such a person's like photo as the target.
Okay, that isn't appropriate.
No, it was a joke. It was a joke, like, ooh, because, I'm your this, don't put me, maybe if I irritate you that day and I say, please submit stats, don't, you know what I mean? So it's that where I'm just like, wow, that's kind of weird, but okay. I guess you don't know how you feel to people.
Sure.
Because you're just being yourself. You're just
And it's hard to pick up on those cues.
Not just hard, but like kind of useless. What are you going to do with that information? Change. You can't change.
I think this conversation is so interesting that, man, today I'm really formal because I'm just taking all this information in. It's this is really, really interesting. So we need to go back to a typical day for you. I think we just deviated a bit from that. So what does a day in your life look like?
Typical work day.
Yes.
Getting up early so I can get to the office early so I can sit alone. Because you can't book the tables.
Sure.
I mean the individual rooms, so first come, first serve. So what's important to me is avoiding traffic.
Sure.
I find that so draining. And I also try to leave work early, like 3, to get out of traffic.
PM.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I thought you meant 3 a.m.
No,
So where are you going at
No.
that early?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, getting out early to avoid traffic. I'm always my noise cancelling headphones are almost always on. What happens is sometimes I enter into a state of like, when you're flowing, you're really like killing it, you're ticking things off, and then maybe we'll have a meeting scheduled, and then when we come back from the meeting, it's hard for me to kind of transition back into the workload.
Sure.
So maybe I'll go get a coffee or something. So my previous role, it was hybrid. So the office days needed a lot more planning, a lot more showing up. And this used to be a thing in varsity where I'd just show up somewhere and my friend's like, you look tired.
That is so rude. That is, guys, you don't say that to someone. You do not. Even if I've got bags under my eyes, you dare say I look tired?
But I thought I looked okay. Like, we're all tired. But like, she said, you look tired. So the in-office days were draining.
Sure.
Because it's fluorescent lighting. It's a lot of up and down. When you go get your coffee, that machine makes a lot of noise. People want to talk to you and greet you. And, you kind of have to put on the friendly colleague mask.
Sure.
So the in-office days were exhausting. Like, it was so tiring. And the kind of work that we did at that time was not just people heavy, but we were also managing a lot of the dynamics surrounding the group of people we were serving. Because the client was an organization and we were engaging with the employees.
Ooh, okay.
So, and you know how employees can be. Sometimes, there's all sorts of things going on, but you kind of get a read of the organizational culture. And so by the time I get home about 4, half 4, tired.
Sure.
I never cooked.
Wow.
Never cooked.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you look like you are dying. You're dying
really.
to ask a question. No, he's just...
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, you're dying.
You know what?
Let's go.
You guys are mentioning a lot of interesting points, so just compared to ask. So you mentioned while growing up that you were assertive, you were outspoken. So my first question is it possible to be autistic and introverted? I think from my understanding, most autistic people, they are extroverted, they are charismatic.
Really?
I was going to say really too.
That's what I was assuming. Let's see, they are out there. They are outspoken. Like you were mentioning that, your mom would tell you do this, but then you would be like, why?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm quite passionate about this one.
Sure.
Because before I got into like the neurodiversity cult or specialty, I really enjoyed personality type theories because I couldn't understand people. I couldn't understand why people are mad at things that they know are true. Sure. Even now, like, I'll talk to someone and they'll get upset about something we all know, and it's like, I think, okay, I recently had a bit of a fight with one of my friends because I was saying to her that, a lot of people are reckless. And what irritates me is finding out that someone's pregnant and like they're not really done with school. And we know the baby daddy and we hate him.
Ooh.
But we can't say it.
You know what? I'm passionate about that.
And it's just like, what are you doing? This is, you didn't really think this through. This is reckless. And just, I would say to that person, listen, go back to school the second you can. Do not let the township and your baby daddy and promises of marriage stick to you. Like, fight. And then that person would get very upset. Like, oh my gosh, you should have approached me in this way. You should have said it in this way. And I'm just like, you're gonna bring a child to earth. Is this the time to be sensitive? Like you made a person. This is kind of a big deal.
Now you are mother.
And now you're getting upset at the tone. Like, okay. So I was just telling one of my friends this story, and then she's like, I like to undermine or belittle or criticize people harshly. And I was like, I do undermine and criticize people harshly. I don't have a problem with that.
I want to ask you something. Sorry for interjecting. So I'm one to believe that it's not what you say, but how you say it. Like what you spoke about now, tone, right? And if you come to me and say, hey, like, do you have a brush? I would just like to fix your hair. I take that a lot better than someone saying, what on earth happened to your hair?
But that's
that same information, just, fix your hair. What is wrong with your hair?
I would just say to you, do you have your brush? And you'd be like, yeah. I'll be like, no, go to the bathroom and just brush your hair.
I don't know. Go to the bar. I feel like
because you're not gonna see. You need a mirror. There's no mirror in here.
You're my mirror.
No, I'm not gonna brush it in a way that's gonna satisfy you.
I think I'm low key, just like you.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not criticizing you. I'm just saying, like, if you have a brush, just go pat down your hair. It's not a big deal.
What is the environment like? Are we alone? Or are there other people there? Because that makes all the difference as well.
Alone. I wouldn't necessarily say that in front of people. Maybe I'll shoot you a text if we're in front of people. Because people are sensitive about that. But I wanted to come back to your introversion question. Introversion, extroversion is about energy. So if I hang out with people, do I leave feeling like inspired, buzzed, oh my gosh, this is so interesting, or do I leave feeling tired? So I often leave feeling tired.
Sure.
That's what makes me introverted. A lot of people are extroverted, but they don't talk a lot. But they are outgoing, they love being in the sun, they like talking and whatever, but they're not the most talkative people. So I try to separate introversion from neurodiversity, although there's a bit of an overlap. But autistic people can be either very outgoing or very socially awkward.
So there isn't a gray space.
That's the spectrum. When we say the spectrum, we mean that. And then some people like me are very sensitive, very controlling over our environment, and then other people are like lax. They enjoy sensation, they like the loud music, it's like going to a concert. For some people, there's no better feeling. For me, that's my personal nightmare. Autistic people are different. I also think it's a bit of a gender thing, because men do speak a little bit more in a more straightforward way. I speak like that sometimes. So it's weird because I seem warm and I seem welcoming and friendly, and then when you come talk to me, I can sometimes be a little bit like, I don't want to say too much. I mean, you're not my friend. I don't hate you, but I was just talking. I wasn't, opening up for friendships. I don't know. It's very hard to explain.
So for you, a line is a line. Like,
Yeah, we don't know each other like that.
that is, my
That's
brain
my
said
pet-
wild, but
That's my pet peeve. Even like people who help you at restaurants and whatever. I don't like it when they're over familiar. I don't like it. You don't know us. We are your clients. Don't come and
don't call me Chomi, please. Please, yo, there's nothing that I hate more. Don't call me Chomi because I'm black. That is crazy.
But guys,
Diabolical.
they're just trying to be friendly.
Why?
No, then call everyone
You're never
else
gonna see
Chomi.
me again. Why are you being
And also
crazy?
call everyone of any color, the green man, the yellow guy, and the call everyone to me. I'm not your choki, but
and you
oh la la. Oh, please
my
kill
dear.
me.
My dear.
Screams.
Yeah, no, I hate it when people are over familiar. I hate it when people are asking questions that seem normal to them, but they're actually quite intrusive.
Like what?
I don't know, like making an assumption, like you have hair on, right? And then I come to you and I say, wow, you look so nice. You look like such a, I don't know, Rose Bankan or like a, Pretoria girly or whatever.
That is slightly offensive.
Because of your hair. And it's like, you don't know how I dress every day. Like, no, it's not even your business. Just say hello. How are you?
Okay. No, I get that. But now you mentioned that you are super sensitive, right? So, and at the same time, you saying that when you talk, you are more of like straightforward person.
So by sensitive, I mean neurologically, like I'm very aware of the lights and the sun, like, sight, vision, whatever. I'm
Okay.
also emotionally sensitive, but I'm not fragile.
Okay, because my question was on the lines of now when you talk, you are straightforward and it can come across as offensive to some people. But now, if you are being told like straight, now how do you take it?
Like what? Give me an example.
Like the example that you guys made that you look tired. It
Look,
may come across as
That is rude.
rude. You see, she's saying rude.
That is. Listen.
But
I would
you
call
look
it
tired.
annoying. It's more annoying, but like I know that the person saying that cares about me.
Exactly.
But it's annoying. It's not really like, wow, like this person's so,
But why can't you say, "Are you okay?" That for me beats. Yo, you look tired, my friend.
I'm not
Am I
too
walking
upset
around
about
with,
that.
like-
Okay, you look tired and exhausted.
How guys? No, I'm sorry.
And maybe I'm not like phrasing it right. She probably said, "Hey, are you okay? You look tired."
I really have a problem with you look tired. Like, are you saying my
Why?
face is giving off tired?
That's literally
Maybe
what
I'm
she's
vain.
saying.
Maybe I'm vain. Maybe I'm just a
No,
vain girl.
and like, sometimes when you have autism or you're a bit more sensitive, the environment's harsh on you. It is taxing. It is tiring, but you're not used to people noticing that. And then when someone notices that, it's almost like, hey, am I walking around looking tired? Sure. Okay. No, I am tired, but but it's not something that I can say hurts my feelings or makes me want to, I don't know, use concealer. I mean, it's just a bit annoying.
I want to ask something. While we're on the whole social aspect of it, I don't know if you've seen the show.
Love on the Spectrum.
I love that show so much. But
That's what everyone asks me when you say autism. They're like, have you seen Love on the Spectrum?
But they are quite on the severe end, right? Because it's not. See, those are things that we need to know because that's what autism typically presents
But
like.
those are white people from like Europe.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about
Like,
it.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the black culture, you can't be like that. You
But-
have to greet. You have to, especially with Toho, you have to shake their hand. They're gonna ask you how school's going. You have to answer. You can't be weird and awkward like that. It's weird.
Do they always know that
Who?
they're being weird, people with autism? Do you guys always know if you're being weird or awkward? Because I'm like, it's very hard to stop something you're not aware of,
I think
right?
Yeah.
I think most black moms will kind of teach you that you don't do that. You greet. You offer people tea. You offer people coffee. So by the time you're like, I don't know, 18, you kind of understand that there are social rules, and your mom explicitly taught them to. I don't know if you're familiar with the Big Bang Theory.
Yes.
Sheldon, when his friends are upset, he offers them a warm beverage because that's what his mom taught him.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. You I wouldn't say you're consciously aware of your rudeness, but by the time, especially in the African culture, you're 19, 20, you understand that, like, this is how you behave around people. You don't interrupt. You don't say you're lying to older people. You don't swear. You don't come here while we're sitting and chatting and switch on the TV and watch Coco. You don't do that. So you know, kind of like a basic to intermediate level of social acumen. You have most of those skills.
I want to ask this. Is it always truly understanding, or is it mimicking behavior? Because that's also a trait, of I don't want to say obviously all everyone living with autism, because again it's a spectrum, but I know it's one of the traits where one doesn't necessarily understand the social cues or norms, but they're able to mimic, or they almost, what is this?
But we all learn by modeling.
True.
Like what our parents model to us is what we do. It's just with autism, it might be a little bit more pronounced. But yeah, I hear what you're saying, but for me it's a bit gray in that I understand that if I'm nice to people and I greet them, they're gonna be nice to me and greet me.
And if they're not? Because human beings are complex, guys. There's mean girls.
Some people are just rude also. Some people are rude and entitled. So you need to know which battles to fight.
So how do you regulate yourself in a situation like that? Or like at work, or
where someone's being rude to me? I think work presents a unique challenge because you still have to be professional and courteous. So all the regulation that I would do, the best thing I would do is probably go sit by myself. But when I get home, that's when I would do, I bought a handheld massager. It's just life-changing because, like you said, I'm quite sensory seeking. I like the deep pressure. So the massager helps me. Sometimes I'm just in my bedroom. I switch off the light and I close the door and I just sit in silence. That's very recharging for me.
So isolation for you is
isolation,
recharging.
Low stimulation. I have sunblock curtains. I'm becoming better at it, where I'm starting to learn that, like, okay, that's a topic that I find especially annoying. Let me leave.
Sure.
I will try and like set the boundary, but sometimes it's just like, nah, I don't even want to like get into it. You're wrong, and we're just gonna leave it at that. At work, I don't know if I'm aware of people's meanness or criticism or whatever. In my mind, we are all adults. But if something especially upsetting happens, like genuinely upsetting, there was one incident where I went home, closed my laptop.
You left work.
Closed my laptop and I went home. But it was already like 2:30.
Okay.
But like,
okay.
you know,
I'm thinking 10 o'clock in the morning. You're like, you know what? I can't do this. I'm out.
I think I can do that.
Sure.
But I'd have to make that day up in the week. So the company I worked for was a little flexible about that, especially if we were supposed to go in our company's offices.
Okay.
Sometimes you're at the client, so it's not so flexible. But yeah, there was one particular incident where I felt like, actually, you know what? They can keep their job. But it's hard because, how can I put it? In a way, we shouldn't act like that at work. But in a way, the way someone spoke to me upset me. And then I also got up, you know what I mean? So at work, those incidents are quite few. But in my personal life, if I go out like shopping or whatever, if I start complaining about like everything and whatever, I'm throwing a tantrum.
Like an actual physical
I wouldn't
tantrum.
say a physical tantrum, but like, people here can't drive. Wow, this waitress is so useless. I told her no ice. I'm wondering, what kind of people do they hire here? It's like they see someone cross the road and they're like, hi, come work. Like if I get into that mood of like criticizing everything, I have to be like, oh wait, like I'm having a tantrum. Let me go home. So going home is the best way of containing myself or isolating myself.
Myself, when it comes to the workplace, I think I'm more of a person who confronts the situation. If it's workplace, then I make sure that I confront that situation there and then. If it's too much, I will still confront, maybe even leave. But then if it's like socially outside of work, maybe at the mall or road rages and things like that, I don't think I don't do anything. I rather keep quiet and just be about my day.
I feel like I need to pray because I know.
When you get a feet
I was
everywhere.
telling I try to understand people.
I don't even try.
Warm. I really I take in, but some papela. Or that is where we're gonna have a problem. Scam papela, because if I let it go and I don't address it, I won't sleep. Like it eats at me. I was telling myself, I'm like, it's chewing at me.
But
I need to drive back.
You're both at public hospitals, right?
Yes. No. This is social.
Oh, social.
Social and like
at work.
I have the same.
No, but when you work in a hospital, dude, people are disrespectful.
I can't. I'll walk back. I'll leave and say, you know what? I'm a good person. I'm better than this, but I'm not. I am not better than this because I'm gonna turn. And if I drove away, I'm going back. I'm gonna say, you know what? I actually need to talk to you. Come here. Let's stand here.
But like, do you find that it's your teammates or is it other departments, or like who's often upsetting you?
I'm a delight for the most part. So, and I've been working where I work for a very long time. So I've got a reputation. She's nice, but right? It's the new people. And I feel so bad for them because I'm like, you're about to know me and I don't want that. Because I go out of my way to be really nice to people. But if you know what? If you want to go low, let's go to the core of the earth once, because what are you talking about?
But what if it's me and I accidentally disrespect you? Accidentally.
If I call it out immediately, if I say, can you please not talk to me like that?
Oh, okay.
Right? No, I don't blow up. I'll address it. But if I see it's going too far, I'm going to.
I mean, like...
if I do that, then I'm not happy. I'm going to come back and say, you know what? No, I'm not better than this. Let's go.
Like, for example, if I tell you as the speech, like, I think you should work on 1, 2, 3, something like that. That's like disrespectful, right?
You telling me coming from where?
Especially as an OT, you know how OTs are.
Are you telling me how to do my job?
Yeah.
Oh no, we can't do that. No.
But let's say I submit a referral late.
Why not, guys?
And I'm like, please go. I know it's but go. Like the doctor, please. I know it's late. Sorry.
But see, that's nice. You're not coming for me. You're
Okay.
saying, may you please, and I'll say, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna try go, or I'll try to go early tomorrow morning.
Okay.
You were kind about it. I can't, like, you didn't do anything wrong. You're just saying, hey, listen, I'm so sorry. Can you just try? No, that's nice. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
And I'm not a psychopath.
Yeah.
No, it's just, by come for me, I mean, if
That's
you're
what
going
I
to
don't
insult
get.
me, like if you're going, I mean, and also people have misunderstandings. So I'm not talking about
Yes.
misunderstandings either. I'm not talking about just professional disagreements, because we are allowed to disagree. I'm talking about outright disrespect,
Okay.
disregard for my boundaries. No, man, not normal. I mean, you could piss me off and I'm just like, that's fine. Because it's a professional argument, But if you're going to start saying, yeah, you know what? Do you know who I am? Hey, I know
Yeah.
you've crossed the boundary, Even socially, like if I don't agree, I'll just say, okay. But don't drag it. Now you want to insult me, because then we're going to have a problem.
Yeah. Okay.
But I if we disagree and I see, this is becoming lengthy, I'll say, you know what? Okay.
I don't like it when people do that.
I'll say, okay.
Like, oh no, let's just leave it here. It's becoming a thing.
How? But I don't want to do this anymore.
I mean, I hear you.
Like, I'm tired. I don't like lengthy arguments.
But I feel like it's Saturday afternoon. Where you're in a rush
to stop this conversation.
Why?
I'm not going anywhere. I just don't want to talk about this anymore.
Why?
That's my boundary. I don't want to talk about this. I just don't. Like, it's fine. If it means
Like, you
I'm
see
wrong,
that?
I'll be wrong. But can we stop talking about it?
You see that makes no sense to me, because in my mind, our opinions are clashing.
They are.
But it's not our emotions or our values that are clashing. You just think like this and I think like this.
No, I'm not upset at you. I'm just exhausted from the conversation. I feel like we've exhausted it. It's fine. Like,
we just got started.
Yeah, it's not an emotional reaction. I just don't see the point of arguing about this. Like,
I see the point.
yeah, but remember,
Yeah, no, I think.
Yeah, like,
you're like that.
it's tiring. Like, we've been talking about, hey, the charger is black. No, it's brown. Okay, you know what? It's brown. It's
Let's
fine.
just-
Let's
That
move on.
upsets
Let's
me.
move on.
That upsets me because it's not brown.
But sometimes we realize we need to agree to disagree. We're not gonna. There's no middle point. No one is coming to the party, and that's fine.
I just feel like a charger is objectively black.
No, but what
That's
if I'm
fine then.
colorblind?
Sorry?
What if I'm colorblind and I insist it's white?
You're wrong.
So
Let me show you you're
Okay, then
wrong.
that's fine.
But
I'm
then-
wrong. I mean,
but
let's
then
move on.
I'm fully persuaded that you are wrong. So for that matter, let's just agree to disagree.
But for
and
me,
leave the
like,
conversation.
that's a fun debate. That's like playing. But for other people, it's like, okay, this is gonna drain. Like, that's what I don't get to say. Why? Like, I mean, no one's gonna die. The police are not gonna arrest us.
I'm dying from exhaustion from this topic. I promise you. I feel like, can I tell you something? The one thing that I always say, I don't like going through a lot. I don't like suffering. Okay? So I don't want to suffer from a conversation that I don't want to be a part of anymore.
But in my mind, I can't understand why you don't want to be a part of it, because 2 minutes you were a part of it. You could have said nothing.
No, but I had something to say. I don't anymore. I really don't. Like, it's fine. Like, we are fine now.
You see, I get that logically.
Yeah.
But philosophically, I'm like, nah. You started.
Would you push then the conversation?
It depends on how much capital I have with the person. But I must say, this is something that has happened in my friendships where I'm just like, you say something and then now we are having a nice debate about it and now you're like, done. What the hell?
It's not done. We've said everything we want to say.
I haven't. I just got started.
Then talk, then I'll listen to you. I just have nothing to
Are
say.
you really listening? That's
Yes.
my question.
As long as you don't expect an input from me. I don't have one anymore.
Okay.
Okay, my question now, with this one in mind, let's say now you're having that type of exchange with that particular person, and then during that conversation, you can see that the intellectual capacity of this individual is not,
I'm sorry, the what?
the
Intellect.
intellectual
That is such a cute way.
I'm saying they're
I'm
done.
making that point. Yes, I'm saying they dumb. They're just dumb.
But if you're my friend, you're not dumb.
Okay.
There are people that are committed
So I'm not
to
gonna
their
argue.
level of understanding. They're committed to their brain's capacity. They're just committed to it.
I'm not gonna argue with someone I don't know because it's like, oh, you're just dumb. Okay, cool. But if it's my friend or someone I have that kind of capital with, then I'm like, okay, let me challenge this a little bit. We're safe. Nothing bad's gonna happen. And then people feel like, so like I said, I grew up assertive. I wouldn't say confrontational, but I like a good debate and I like being right. So I'm gonna give myself what I like.
But sometimes, if I agree with you, then we're both wrong. Then what?
I'm never wrong. In
Aight.
you see, in here,
You
I have yet to be proven wrong.
you are right till proven wrong.
No, I'm just saying so far, there haven't been things that I was wrong about. Like, most things that I predict happen.
Again, examples. I am so
Like
intrigued.
yesterday, okay, no, this is, but it depends. Like, the thing with autism is that you develop pattern recognition,
Okay.
but it's not conscious. But you can see an interaction between like a girlfriend and a boyfriend for like 2 minutes, and then for some reason I'll just have this belief that these people are not gonna make it, and then I say to my friend like, yeah, I don't think they're gonna last very long, and she's like, no, but sometimes like, you see that you can't defend these people.
But they might be the exception to the rule.
Why would they be the exception to the rule?
Because people are exceptions to the rule.
Then they're not exceptions.
Do you see things in a black and white manner?
Yes, very, very black and white.
Okay.
Very fact, opinion, true, false. And I believe in like some things are just spiritually true. Like you meet people who say, like guys, especially who are approaching 40, and like they act like they don't want a serious relationship. I'm like, that's just nonsense.
Also, sir, you are closer to death than you've ever been before.
And you want
Be
to
serious about your life.
And you want to come tell me you want a casual thing at 39.
Is that not ageism though?
I don't care what it is.
Because I'm
It's a lie. Men want to get married. Trust me.
You know what? This conversation of men is a very hard one for me.
Men want to get married. It's like what I was saying to you.
It's a whole other topic.
I was saying to you, men are conservative. So they'll come and act like, no, women. But like, I don't buy it. Why is it that we all want to get married and you're suddenly like this shining example of like being a bachelor, but here you are dressed nice trying to impress me on a date? You want this because you're normal. We all want that.
I don't think I know enough about men to make any.
I feel like men want to get married. That one I'm pretty sure about. Maybe not a 22-year-old.
Can you have a 2 cents? Your 2 cents from a man's point of view. Do you guys want to get married?
Of course, we want to get married.
I told you.
At our time.
And 39 is that.
That
time.
is such an eye roll thing at your time.
Yeah.
39 is his time. And now it's like time to step up, and you're like, like for me, it's like, dude, I know your age. You know your age. You know men. I know men. Why are you acting like this?
I can comfortably say I don't know men enough. All I know is if you're a man, you're really on thin ice with me. That's all I know. Like, I don't know enough about men to make any...
I agree with you about the thin ice thing, but I know men. I grew up with brothers.
I'm always compelled to do this.
Clock
it.
I grew up with brothers. I feel like I understand the basics of a man. They can say whatever, but they want to get married. That I feel very confident about, especially black men, because they're conservative. And conservative people want families. They want to, I don't know, something about their lineage or pass down their genes or whatever.
They also like baddies.
Yeah, they're going to try and have their cake and eat it. That's men.
Is that not, though, like a stereotypical viewpoint of, and this is not me.
Not
I
all
wanna say
men
This is not me
defending men. She's not defending men. She's just the devil's advocate.
Ne? Do
who's
not
the
get
devil?
this twisted.
She's just the devil's advocate.
I
We
am
know who the
advocating.
devil is.
I am advocating. So I just want to, because it's almost like saying, oh my gosh, I'm actually like vomiting in my mouth. Because now I don't want to compare it to no, I don't want to talk about anything too serious. Yeah, because I don't want to spike.
It's a
very
we should be cautious.
It's a very fragile topic to talk about. But yeah, I think I made my point actually.
I don't know. And we're gonna come to you just now. I think stereotypes serve a function. So if all men tend to like cheat and whatever, and you meet a guy who doesn't cheat,
I'm nervous. I am nervous.
I'm like, wow, they exist. I knew it. I'm not nervous.
They do exist.
I just feel like the stereotype helps you identify people who are really outside of it. And I often assume people outside of the stereotype are good, but they're not always good. But I'm just saying stereotypes help us understand the world. They're not 100% true, but they help us. Like, if I hear guys cheating, I am not shocked.
That is true.
That's a slow
Then I'm
Tuesday
like,
afternoon. Like, that's so normal.
Tell me something I don't know.
Like, surprise me.
I think we are going to go off course.
Yes,
if we continue this round,
We are, because
we are going to go off course. So, are you done with your line of inquiry?
No. I want to also ask about inclusion, right? What inclusion would you like to see in a professional setting, but also in a social setting? Because I know this is an eye roll for you, but going back to Love on the Spectrum, right, made me realize that we are very aware of kids with autism, but we forget that these kids become adults.
Yeah.
With autism, right? And when someone is acting outside of the norm, right, people find it strange. Although this was a child at a certain point with autism. Hello, it's.
So yeah, I mean, if you've never been outside the margins, inclusion seems like a buzzword. Things people just say, like, inclusion and whatever. So for me, what inclusion looks like, especially as a person who coaches people with neurodiversity, inclusion looks like, first of all, neurodiverse people accepting that they're weird and acting weird. You have to act the way that you are. One. But also, you need to educate the people who are around you that I do this sometimes, but it's not because I hate you. I just am not a morning person. But I can say hi. But don't ask me how my weekend was. But I can say morning. So for me, inclusion is neurotypical people being okay not understanding autistic people. Being okay with the question mark.
Not pushing our boundaries.
Yeah, or not trying to force like, oh no, here we do that on a Monday. And it's like, no, I want to do it on Thursday. And it's like, that's a bit annoying, but it's fine. It's not going to like bring the company down. But neurotypical people often want to force, no, it's a Monday thing. And it's like, is it really do or die? Is it really a hectic thing? I had one lady, her bosses didn't like her because she's not an extrovert. She doesn't want to hang out with them after work and grab drinks and talk and, work in the common area. She wants to be alone to do her work. And yes, it seems rude. So they'll come and say, she's not really a team player. But it's like, is that essential to the functions of the job? No. So that's what inclusion looks like for me. Like, I'm not asking neurotypical people to completely abandon the way that they do things, but to not take offense or feel upset that like one of their juniors does not want to hang out with them after work, or they don't really want to be part of the group chat. You know, like you don't have to be part of a work group chat. They don't pay for that phone. So some
We
a
actually had
ghost said really.
we had something like that at work, and it's such a thin line, because if you don't want if you don't want to use your phone for work purposes, then you cannot use your phone at work. However, guys, I'll use my phone at work and add me to the group chat, but I get what you mean. Actually get, like, even my response is different, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. So if they're not paying for your phone and you're not part of the group chat, it's fine. But you're gonna have to find a way of getting that information in a way that works for you. It's gonna be really tough to ask your line manager of 15 years who always use WhatsApp to now email you every single thing. So what I'm saying is, for me, inclusion starts with saying, I don't like how you do things. I don't like how you do things. Okay, cool.
So it's the midpoint.
Do you want information from the group chat?
Okay.
Because if you say no, I don't want to be part of the group chat, you need to come up with a way
Okay.
of staying updated. What is your line manager gonna do? But like, they can't force you to be in the group chat. But you need to find a way. Maybe you'll make friends with someone and they'll just send everything, screenshots. I don't know. But what I'm saying is that inclusion does involve a little bit of advocacy to say, I don't feel comfortable being in the group chat, but I'll make sure that I call so-and-so every evening to make sure I know the plan for tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And my question in line with that is, as you're talking now, I'm already thinking of like the interview process, the onboarding process. Because when I've been part of a panel before where when the person comes in and they're like, good morning, you're like, yes, I want that one. Just how easy they seem, or how comfortable they seem and how pleasant they seem. And that is just from body language, right? Because that person has made an impression. And I would imagine that it's not always that typical.
Yeah.
It's not always that typical for someone that's a neurodivergent person, right? They might walk into a room and not feel the need to smile. I'm here to be asked questions, ask me so I can go, right? So what would you like employers to know in the sense of that whole interview, onboarding, and becoming part of that particular workspace?
That's a difficult question because, and we actually were having a bit of a discussion about it on one of the OT groups, but it's almost as though neurodiverse people don't understand that things don't have meaning. I don't know how to describe it. Like, if I say to a neurodiverse person, when you get there, be charming, be friendly, be nice, they might ask why. I'm already the most qualified person for the job. So a lot of like what I do is help neurodiverse people like understand that just do it. Don't even think about it. Just do it. It's like a silly test. It means nothing. I feel like a lot of neurodiverse people have not been told how the world works. They think the world works on fairness and logic and justice. And it's like, it's a show. It's a mask. Put on a mask and then you'll be yourself when you start working there. So what I do want employers to know is that onboarding processes and interviews and hiring practices as they are now are very biased. And that's why a lot of neurodiverse people will run into like more technical roles, because in a technical role we want to know, can you do the technical work? Whereas if you're interviewing to be a speech therapist, they'll be like, oh, at a private practice, they'll be like, Kyle, how do you feel about children and their development? And it's really about, do you vibe? Are you part of the team? Are you gonna fit here? Because most work can be taught, but no one wants to work with someone they hate or dislike or don't understand.
And I know the one question that always, right, comes up is, how would you handle conflict, right? It might come up in different ways, but primarily conflict management. And I would assume again, it's an assumption that it might not be the most obvious thing for someone living with autism, because it's very black or white, because it's a talk to them, then get a third party, then if that doesn't work,
but
escalate.
These things are intuitive to you. So I would tell a neurodiverse person, go Google conflict resolution steps.
It's a policy.
And say those. Don't even mean them, just say them. So, yeah, because, we all hate each other at the workplace. There is no conflict resolution. But you have to kind of put on a performance to get the job. So, for you understand that instinctively, intuitively, you know that. But for us neurodiverse people, it's like, conflict resolution. Didn't one of your guys just sue the CEO? Like, in our heads, it's incongruent. It doesn't make sense. So most of the work is understanding that most of the world is superficial and hierarchical and performative. And you need to come up with a way of tolerating that without betraying your authenticity. So it's very, it's not perfect. And, I've seen ads on LinkedIn where they're like, able to work under pressure, self-starter. It just means that they're going to overwork you and they're not going to train you. That's it. Are you happy with that? So employers have many, many gaps in hiring processes, and we kind of need to make up for that gap per employee. It's different for everyone, but a lot of neurodiverse people are in more technical fields where there's a bit more wiggle room.
I want to ask about your thoughts on the more severe side of the spectrum, right? The workforce is not necessarily inclusive in that sense. There's not. I don't think I've read about a role, except if it's one of those, they'll come work in the kitchen as part of the program at whatever school they're a part of. But I've never seen an actual role that's open for, a neurodiverse person. But I'm thinking, but again, there's not much for like people with CP, people with Down syndrome, people with,
It's like imagining the CEO of like what? F&B in a wheelchair. It's almost like, no, but for a lot of people, it's almost like I guess it could happen, but it's not their natural way of thinking.
Do you guys speak about the good doctor? You know the good doctor?
I think that is a really horrible representation of autism, personally.
Is it?
He's a white man. They're white men.
No, and they gave him all the traits of autism. You know what I mean? Like
it's a show.
They didn't make him
human.
Yeah, and he's like the ideal picture. And I don't think it's realistic. Maybe because I work with, I don't know. I don't think. And the whole Raven situation where he kind of sees it, and
I have a thing with birds though. Like if I see
liking them.
No, if I see a certain kind of bird, I feel like, you know what, my unconscious mind's trying to tell me something. Like this one time I saw crows, but it's the crow that's black and white. And I'm like, no man, this means something. And apparently the symbolism for crows is like they're highly intelligent, very loyal, and the black and white is almost like kind of representing an intelligent way of like passing from black to white or white to like transition, intelligent transition. But I know it's made up. It's not a science. It's a vibe. So yeah, with these shows like Sheldon Cooper, the white whatever, the Good Doctor, Monk, they're white men, and men don't have to be courteous, especially when they're brilliant or rich. So autistic men come across as narcissistic sometimes. But as an autistic woman, you kind of have to like try and be more people oriented and, I don't know, put on a better performance.
So patriarchy seeps into every space.
We
Clearly.
will never escape the patriarchy.
Yo, what a sad reality. Okay. This has been very, very, very informative, and I think I have a lot more questions. I have, a lot more things that I would like, to banter on, and we just don't have the time today. But I think it's so important for us to have these conversations because, we live in a world where we diverse. There's many different types of people, and not just in terms of religion and culture, but in terms of functioning as well. And it's important to include everyone in the types of conversations that we have. The MAGC Wellness Podcast is inclusive.
Question mark. I'm kidding.
Apparently there's a question mark.
I'm
Be very
kidding.
receptive. So I would like for you to tell us about the work that you do, because you did mention quite a few times that you work with neurodivergent individuals, and where can we find you?
Okay, let me start with the contact
Sure,
information because
sure.
it's like fighting in my head now. So info.shikaot@gmail, that's my email address. I'm not that active on Instagram anymore, becoming Shika, but you can DM me there. And yeah, email, DM, I'm on most socials. What do you say? What do they say? Link in the description box.
Description below.
Okay, yes, we'll add all of that. Most of the work that I do is just helping neurodiverse people cope. And that sounds very broad, generalized. But for me, most of what neurodiversity is self-acceptance, self-compassion, and then having the skills to say to people, treat me like this. That's my approach. Other approaches are a little bit more skills based, like let's put all your appointments in the calendar so you don't forget. I find that that's not really helpful, especially as a neurodiverse person, because my brain is not with it. Like, I can ignore an alarm, it's easy. I can ignore an email, it's easy. So it's about self-acceptance, it's about finding the career or the job that fits. I mean, currently I'm looking for a job that fits, but that's gonna be the, how can I put it, the setup for a lot of neurodiverse people. It takes us time to kind of find a job that works, that fits, that isn't too demanding, but it is connected to our passions. So just building tolerance for that flexibility, for the unknown, for what works for me, what do I need to feel included. That's mostly what I do, is coaching, a lot of coaching and self-acceptance. I also do help with executive function, but my solution for executive dysfunction, which is planning, organizing, remembering all your appointments, for men, it's marriage.
Okay.
Or a
Interesting.
girlfriend, but it's often social support, relying on the strengths of those type A people in your life. Those people are the people you need, and they help you keep on top of things. Yeah.
That is really important work that you do for the community. And yeah, I think this has been a very, very interesting, session or episode. And thank you for opening up and being, shall I say, vulnerable and sharing yourself with us. I think our viewers will really, really appreciate that. Guys, remember to like, subscribe,
Follow.
follow, set that notification button.
Oh, yes.
All of it. I'm still learning how to say this. But for myself and the MAGC family, it is goodbye.